Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to day 3 of our annual conference and showcase. My name is George Edwards. I'm the Chief Accreditation Officer and Director of the Commission on Public Schools at the New England Association of Schools and Colleges. It's my pleasure to be with you today to moderate this session, Engaging Students Through Innovative and Flexible Learning Experience Design. We are featuring this morning educators and students from the Hisar School in Istanbul, Turkey. We're so happy to have students as part of this presentation this morning. This is a presentation about the way a school has pivoted and has adapted learning experiences in a virtual environment that are engaging for students. And I think you're going to find it fascinating. And again, I think the fact that we have 2 students with us this morning who will be leading us through this presentation will be terrific. So at this point in time, I am going to introduce Gulçin, who is the head for academic affairs at the school, and Sadat, who is the computer science department head, who has the mascot with him today to cheer them on. And I'm going to turn it over to them, have them introduce the students to you, and I hope you enjoy the presentation today. Gulçin?
Thank you, George. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon or good evening. We are really happy to be here, actually. It is a great pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity, George. Thank you, NEASC. And it is my first experience, a virtual conference experience. I am excited, but it is always good to challenge ourselves. And then I think it is good to be a role model in terms of that for our students. And I would like to introduce my students, Ece and Yağmur. They are fantastic students. And then we have a story actually about them, who go, the students who go after their passion. Even COVID-19 couldn't stop them. The agenda is, I'm going to talk about my school a little bit. And after that, Sedat will talk about our computer science department. And Ece and Yağmur will be talking about how they adapt the virtual environments and then how they adapt their activities during this COVID pandemic, actually. You can post your questions through QR code or the link we provided, and then we will be answering all these questions at the end. Thank you. My school, Hisar School, is a pre-K through 12 school located in Istanbul, Turkey, with a current enrollment over 1,400. We are a private local school, and we are not we are international minded school, and we are required to teach a Ministry of Education curriculum, but we also teach AP courses in our school. 55% of our graduates actually prefer studying abroad. Our mission is discovering and developing our true potential through critical thinking, effective collaboration, and meaningful contribution as world citizens. We believe that every child has potential. If they are given opportunities and if they are supported, they will discover their passion and their potential. That's we believe that as educators, that's our job to do. And we also believe that learning through understanding holds a natural place in our daily lives. And we are committed to continuous improvement in learning. And we would like to have future-ready students. And then there are some skills we want them to gain. And then for their future, make sure that they're ready. These skills actually be inspired by Wagner, actually in his Global Achievement Gap book, he was talking about 7 survival skills students will need in the future for their careers, for their learning, and we inspire from this. And these are the skills we would like to have our students to gain. And during the pandemic, actually shows that how important to adaptability and how important learning skills are. The COVID, as many schools in all around the world, created disruptions in all areas of life. But the greatest disruption, I believe, that in education, it urged major transformation in schools. We aim to maintain our mission, vision, and strategic plans during the distance learning period in order to prepare our students for ever-changing and unpredictable world. Learning must be restructured to be flexible, personalized, and communication-driven. That's why we treat this process as a unique opportunity. And one of the departments actually prepare our students, have our students to use this to become a future ready. This is our computer science department, and I would like to let Sedat talk about the computer science department activities and curriculum a little. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Gülçin. Hi, everyone again. First of all, HISRCS is a computer science team under the mentorship of our computer science teachers in our school. Our aim as mentor teachers is the students to be their own learners. That's why peer learning is one of the key values for HISRCS. The students are learning every day from each other. They know that when they are having some troubles with their projects, cooperate and learn together. With the mission of increasing exposure to STEM fields and creating an equal learning opportunity for everyone, we are sharing our knowledge regarding computer science with anyone who is willing to learn with the many events are organizing. Now, I would like to introduce my students to you, Ece and Yağmur. They will give examples of what they do with passion, especially how they adapt to the pandemic era. They will talk about our motto as HISRCS, our Fab Lab Tinkering Lab, and teaching and learning in virtual environments from a student's perspective. Ece and Yağmur.
Hi, I'm Ece. I'm an 11th grade student at the Hisar School. As HISRCS students, we are aware that making mistakes is a big part of the learning process. And that's where our motto came from: make, fail, learn, repeat. If you spend a day with us, we guarantee that you will hear these 4 words more than 15 times. When starting a project, we know that we're not going to be perfect, and that's what we enjoy: failing. It may sound weird to love to fail, but failing is what takes us a step forward. It makes us rethink, reconsider what we did, and encourages creativity and nurtures persistence, because we know that there's a solution to our problem, and we debug and debug until we reach always. And we learn from our mistakes and repeat the process. Now, coming to our learning environment, Idea Lab. Idea Lab, which is also the office of our computer science teachers, is a collaborative learning and working environment where small ideas cultivate into greater ideas. This year, during the lockdown, Idea Lab has officially become a Fab Lab. Our lab continues to evolve as a dynamic living and learning space, as illustrated by the diversifying editions of the lab fabrication. In 2013, our makerspace was created when a group of students interested in robotics turned one of the rooms in the school into the Idea Lab. For us, Idea Lab is a community and a family that grows with every member. We are encouraged to explore new curiosity and build whatever we want. No question is seen as stupid. Most don't even have a clear answer, and we still try to figure it out ourselves. Our head teacher Sedat famously says, you're the boss, and instructs us to ask our questions to the other students and encourage peer learning and self-learning. In Idea Lab, we're working on interesting projects such as arcade machines, games, and robots. And many of these projects and events that we organize are now adapted to the new normal.
And these are events that we have organized during the pandemic, but today we will only be talking about the ones that we have learned the most from.
Before talking about our experiences on organizing a virtual event, we want to ask all of you a question. What challenge did you face during distance learning and teaching? You can scan the QR or simply type in the link. And just a second, I'm going to present another screen. A screen like this will come up. And you can post your answers here. And everyone will be able to see these answers. We have 3 minutes for these answers, so I'm just starting the time now. Please don't be shy to answer. The answers are also anonymous. We have 2 minutes left.
Looking at your problems, we can say that we have very similar problems. We experience the same issues during our events. That's why we will be explaining you what we learned from these problems and how we solve them.
Now, moving on. Again, switching the screens. Okay. Yeah, now we can start explaining. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Okay. From now, we would like to talk about how we organize these virtual events and what we learned from them by following the structure of our motto, make, fail, learn, repeat. First comes our annual HISAR Coding Summit. Every year, as the HISAR CS team, we host a 2-day-long coding summit, aiming to encourage and teach over 300 students computer programming, graphic design, and 3D design. The instructors of the Coding Summit consist of high school students that are passionate about their coding language. They are proficient in their involved language and have written a guide booklet based on their lesson content, which is later distributed to the participants after the lessons. Peer learning is effectively practiced in the Coding Summit, ensuring direct, clear interaction between the instructor and the participants, which is mutually beneficial to the instructors and the students. The essential courses we provide for our participants are Scratch, App Inventor, Microbit, Python, Java, Fusion, NLP, Swift, and Arduino. This year, while we're planning for the 6th HISAR Coding Summit at our school, everything changed at an instant. Soon we were all in our homes, scared to go out. But we knew that we had to organize the summit, regardless of the unplanned situations. So the preparations continued. The first thing we did was analyzing the current situation and brainstorming as a team on getting the best out of this to reach as many as possible, overcoming the distance barrier. And we opened the registrations. Virtual Summit gave us a huge chance to make this event both international and for Turkey. And we had 2 different days, one Turkish and one English, and the participants were diverse. For the Turkish Coding Summit, we had 185 participants, and for the International Summit, we had more than 30 participants. Now, coming to the making stage. Although virtual environment has many benefits, it comes with certain safety concerns. To keep the virtual event cyber safe, we control the people who could access the Google Meet. We exactly knew who and how many was participating. Also, we sent each participant a Google form, which they had to sign in order to participate. This form included cyber security rules, such as not sharing the Google link with a third party, or not taking pictures or videos of anyone or the workshop materials. During our team meetings, we noticed that downloading the coding or design platforms could be a problem. When the summit was at our school, for certain workshops, computers with already downloaded applications were provided to the participants. Also, downloading the several platforms takes a long time. So we knew that the downloading process had to be completed before the summit day. So we sent mails specific to each workshop to the participants. In the mails, we included the details about downloading the required applications. We also prepared short guiding videos on how to download each application. Virtual Summit system was all new to the participants and to us as well. So creating these guiding videos and sending these mails helped to prepare for the summit. The second step was preparing the follow-up materials. We prepared the follow-up materials called cheat sheets for the summit day. These documents were shared with the students at the beginning of each workshop. Because workshops had many students with different knowledge levels, we wanted to minimize the distractions by certain questions such as syntax or asking the place of a tool. And this is an example of the follow-up materials. When the participants had those kind of questions, they were able to look through the cheat sheet and continue with the class. Listening courses from online platforms can be challenging for everyone. So these follow-up materials both help the instructors and the students and minimize the distractions. The third step was creating the breakout rooms. These breakout rooms played an important role in the workshop running smoothly. As I mentioned before, the ages and the levels of the participants were different. For all the workshops, we grouped the students according to their levels, not ages. This was not easy as prior to the summit, we only knew the participants' ages and their names. And we observed them while they were tackling with these games, and we were quickly able to split them into groups as the questions they asked and their speed while solving the problems showed us their levels. Other than the breakout rooms, we also had a main room which we kept active during the summit. There were several HISAR CS team members in the room in case misunderstanding or certain issues occurred. If the participants couldn't join their workshop, they would go to the main room and get help. The opening and the closing ceremony was also in this room. And the final step was keeping the students engaged. Virtual environments can be really difficult when it comes to interacting. Saying this as a student, with one click for closing the camera, the students can easily get distracted and do something else. To prevent this as possible, we wanted to make the participants to share their screen and show us their work. Starting the workshops, we did icebreaker activities that could be a brief introduction to the course. For example, for the Scratch workshop, the younger students were the majority. We asked the kids their favorite cartoon since they were going to code their own animation throughout the workshop. One of the last but most important thing for us was collecting feedback from the participants. We wanted them to be honest and encourage them to give us both positive feedback and point out the opportunities for improvement next year. Although the participants left the summit happy, it didn't mean that we haven't failed in some areas. Our major failing points was late attendance and missing classes, and also not being able to help interactively. When the participants attended the classes late or missed a session, they were confused about what to do and didn't understand the class. Also, when the summit was at our school, we were able to help the students by going next to them and controlling their computer screen. Especially for 3D design classes and the classes for younger kids, this was really useful. However, we couldn't do this through Google Meet and had to explain step by step how they could fix the error or do something. For the upcoming virtual events, we will use less downloaded platforms, internet-based platforms, and we're going to use online compilers for the programming workshops, which also enables the students to collaborate together while they're coding. Also, we're going to use more breakout rooms with less people. And we're going to ask more directed questions to the participants to keep them more engaged. Yağmur, are you here? I think she's not here.
Has an internet problem. Can you move on for the?
Yeah, we're gonna come to SonicPi later then.
He's coming.
Okay.
She's coming. Sorry.
Okay. Just a second. Okay, Yağmur. Yağmur. Okay, let's just pass this part, and then we're gonna come back. Okay, after organizing these events, we saw that we helped many people and introduced them to many platforms, such as coding platforms and design platforms. That's why, as the HISRCS students, we prepared 17 Udemy workshops and filmed each activity and the basics of these languages and uploaded them to Udemy. From 17 courses, 4 courses are already published, and we had 6,400 total enrollments in a short amount of time, which made us really happy. And our course rating is 4.3 out of 5. Yağmur, can you hear us now? Yağmur. Okay, let's continue. Another event that we're going to organize virtually is Pi Wars Turkey. First of all, what is Pi Wars? Pi Wars is an annual event that aims to motivate young individuals to develop a passion for robotics and coding. And it has been taking place at Cambridge University in the UK for the past 6 years. At this event, participants build unique robots using Raspberry Pi, a computer the size of a credit card. We have been attending this competition for more than 2 years and was amazed by the beginner-friendly, non-destructive, and incredibly fun competition culture. That's why, through hard work and determination, we have been able to bring this event to Turkey. Second Pi Wars Turkey took place just before the pandemic, on 3-4 March, at Hisar schools in Istanbul. And it was open to the students from all over Turkey. Prior to the competition, we provided robot kits to teams who didn't have the financial means to do so. Aside organizing the competition in Turkey, we hosted a 2-day-long workshop to the participants about building a Raspberry Pi robot from zero. And the instructors was also the HISRCS students again. At our event last year, 20 teams and around 200 participants attended our competition and workshops. This year, with the experiences we gained on organizing virtual events, we will be organizing the third Pi Wars Turkey virtually. And coming to our plans for Pi Wars Turkey virtual. First, we're gonna create Udemy courses for specific to the Pi Wars Turkey, since we saw the huge effect that our Udemy courses resulted in. And also we're gonna organize mentor and team gatherings where the participants and the HISRCS mentors are gonna get together, work on various problems that the participants faced and solve these problems. Also, the challenges will be both a recorded challenge and online challenges. recorded challenges, the participants are gonna basically build their robot and then record them while the robot is completing the challenge. And online challenges are something that we're still working on, and it's gonna be a surprise. And the competition day is gonna be live through Google Meet. Yağmur, are you back? Okay, now SonicPi.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go back to the SonicPi. Before talking about our SonicPi workshops, I would like to explain what SonicPi is. It's a platform where you can use music, coding to produce music, or even better for us, use the principles of music to teach coding. For example, in our workshops, our main focus was coding, and there we talked about while loops, for loops, if-else statements, variables, and randomization at the end of the lesson. We also introduced the basics of music theory and used them to explain the principles of coding. And now we will show you a quick video to show you what we did with SonicPi. Yeah, that was one of our projects.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was one of our projects. And the story of our workshops is during the coding summit, one of our students from ACS Athens were very interested in coding and music. So we wanted to benefit from the virtual environment, and we asked him if he would join us if we organized international coding too. So we started by building a website, prepared an introduction video, and started writing lesson materials. After posting the event in many different platforms, we started receiving applications. The diversity of the applications were fascinating for us. We had software engineers from Spain, undergraduate students from NYU and Columbia University, middle school students from Turkey, and even high school students from the United States. And these are only some of them. And you may ask, how did you manage to give all of these students the same curriculum? The answer is that we didn't. But we also didn't separate them according to their age. We sent them a Google form prior to the workshop and asked them several questions. Since our main focus was coding, we didn't want to waste too much time on explaining music to them. So according to their responses, we divided them into two groups. We also divided these two groups according to language. One of them was English, and the other one.
Okay, I think Yağmur is disconnected. I can continue from here. First of all, although we had many applications, we only selected 32 of them and tried to keep the student number in each class less than 8. Although this may be a small number, it helped to increase the interactiveness of the event. The students can participate more and even help each other out and share their ideas this way. Also, considering the internet issues we could have during the events, we entered all of the lessons as 3 instructors. And believe me, this really saved our lesson at some point. Secondly, we uploaded all the resources to our website, so the participants could follow up the assignments. Also, the applicants whom we unfortunately couldn't accept could access the resources from that website. We recorded review videos and uploaded them there as well. Is Yağmur back? I think okay. After each lesson, we sent emails to the participants containing 2 assignments. One was an assignment based on knowledge to see if they missed any part of the lecture. The assignment did not require much thinking and aimed to help participants keep up with the lesson. The second assignment, however, was a creative assignment that simply gave a task to the students and asked them to create a music piece using the specific elements of the coding we learned that day. This helped us to see the levels of each student and if they learned or not, since they couldn't find the answers to the creative assignments from internet. Finally, as I have said earlier, we had 2 different groups for each language, Turkish and English. We followed a model that we call a double curriculum. One of the groups started 1 week late, so anyone who missed a class in the first group could attend the second group's lesson to cover that missing class. However, we had failed at some points. The first one is that some people were joining late to the lessons and we didn't know whether we should wait for them or not, since the people present were getting bored. Also, because of the virtual environment, it was harder to keep them engaged while waiting for the others. Also, some people were completely missing classes. The second one was unresponsiveness. Although some participants showed a great interest and tried to answer each question, unfortunately, this was not the case for some of them. They had their cameras closed and didn't attend the lesson. But when we checked their work, we could see that they were learning. Yağmur, you can continue.
Thank you. So how did we solve these problems? To solve the late attendance problem, we sent email reminders to each participant before the lesson. We send them calendar reminders and email links to make sure that everyone knew that there was a lesson that day. Also, we waited for the first 5 to 10 minutes of the lesson for the participants so everyone could join if they had internet issues, like I did today. And we also, during that time, discussed the participants' creative assignments. So if they had any issues about their assignments, other participants could respond to them. This way, we also aim to create international connections between students, and we wanted to create an environment where they could really discuss their ideas and exchange their ideas. And lastly, to solve the unresponsiveness question, we directed our questions to the students using their names. If they were unable to open their microphone, we didn't force them to. We only encouraged them to use the chat section. And this way, we really started to see more participation. These were some of the feedback that we got after our workshops. And it's really made us happy, and it made us see that we succeeded, but we're still planning on improving some parts of our workshop. Our school has artificial intelligence lessons, and I think the format that we follow during these lessons is very different than usual lessons, so I wanted to also talk about it. Each lesson we start by a discussion on the topic. For example, this week our topic was search algorithms, and we started by looking at differences of different searching algorithms. And then we're divided into 2 groups since our class is only 8 people. And in these groups, one person shares their screen and the other one just adds ideas and tells him or her how the code can be written, and the other ones also try to spot out the errors. And then after our code is done, we go back to the main link and we have an intergroup discussion. There we just look at each other's codes to understand how could we use different algorithms to solve the same problem. And we also help each other out if we have any issues about our code. And lastly, we go back to our ordinal groups where we record an assignment video. There we discuss what each section of our code does, and every member of the group gets to speak, so our teacher can make sure that everyone's learning. But there are some points that this structure may fail. The first one is unequal workload on team members, because since only one person is sharing its screen, he or she can be the only one that's coding. But to prevent that, we can switch roles and assign different roles to different people. So throughout the year, the workload is actually equal. And by that, I mean each week or each 2 weeks, a different person can be sharing their screen. We have some tips and tricks for you that summarizes what we've the learned parts of today. The first one is that we definitely learned throughout this process is having small groups for each class and having breakout rooms in case anyone has any questions. The second one is that having interactive lessons, try to engage your students whatever you're doing. And the third one is having a passionate team since the work environment is virtual and since you can force them to do something, it's always good to be passionate so you can attract their interest. And the fourth one is having multiple instructors. What we advise here is to keep the minimum number of instructors to 3 since 2 people may still be having internet issues. And the fifth one is having creative assignments. This way you can really measure if your students are learning what you're teaching, and it also prevents copying from review sheets or internet resources. And the last one is having revision materials. This way, if your students have missed any part of the lectures due to internet issues, or if the students if your students had a hard time focusing on the lecture since it's online, they can always go back to your revision materials to learn about the topic.
When we were organizing our first virtual event, which was Hisar Coding Summit, we had a really rough time trying to figure out where to start first. And we didn't have a guide to help us through this process. That's why, with all the experiences that we gained, we created a guide with Yağmur and our teachers that could help everyone who wants to organize a virtual event. So basically, the guide includes the main points and some other bullet points as well. So by following the guide, we're also using this guide for our upcoming virtual events as well. By following the guide, we can be sure that we're not missing any perspective or any points while organizing. And you can simply scan this QR. This links to a Google Drive folder, which includes this guide and also this presentation. So you can also take a screenshot for the QR. I'm gonna pass the slide. Miss Gülçin, you're muted. Miss, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Happens, right? Thank you. Thank you, Ece. Thank you, Yağmur, for sharing your experience. Actually, all these events, let me tell you something. All these events started with initiatives, actually. All these are their initiatives. And these are the skills we want them to gain. And then we see that what happens when we give them an opportunity or autonomy over their learning and create an environment where they can, discover their passion and potential. That's what they do, basically. And for us, and now we will answer the questions, right? Ece, you will lead that. Thank you.
Yes. If there are any questions, you can simply type it to the chat. I can't see the chat right now because I'm presenting, but Yağmur will also help for the questions. Also, we're gonna check the Padlet if there are any questions there. And again, if you have any questions, you can send it to the chat.
Any question? Let me see on the pad. On Padlet, do we have any questions, Ece?
In the Padlet, I think there aren't any. I mean, there are the answers for the question. I think some participants misunderstood. I'm confused by the two Padlets. Let me check the other one.
Okay.
Yeah. The question answer Padlet has the answers to the question that we asked. But if you, oh, there's a question. At what grade level do you start teaching CS?
Actually, it is part of our curriculum. Maybe I can just answer it a little, you know. It is an not for the 9th grader, we have required compulsory course, but it is all about digital citizenship, and then it require, you know, we go through common sense curriculum. Maybe Sedat can add on that. And then after that, all the computer science courses are elective, but not. This is not about the courses actually we offer. They are not able to take this course in their regular schedule. They just you know, contact their teachers, like Sedat, start on that. Taking this course online. Even we don't, you know, we have been doing this for a long time, right, Sedat?
K1 to K9 is mandatory, and K10 to K12 is elective course. We have 9 elective courses: graphic design, multimedia, and animation, and artificial intelligence, and CAT 101, and entrepreneurship, and APCSP, CSA, and CS capstone.
Actually, this is not just about the computer science skills, we believe. It is about learning skills, because we provide learning environment where the students can get together and then start working on their project. Actually, 6 years ago, they asked for a space to work on their project, and then this is how it started. And after, you know, we gave them a course after they occupied all the classroom, all that area, and now even computer science teachers gave up on their office, and then they are sharing the office area with our students. Our students redesigned that area. It's not office anymore, and they work together. I think it is all about that, you know, working together and learning from each other.
Yeah. I agree. Also, there's another question. Do you offer the coding program every year? And what are the requirements to enter? So Yağmur, I think you can answer this. Is Yağmur still here?
Is it about the SonicPi workshops or the coding lessons in our school?
I think it's SonicPi because it says music coding program.
Oh, okay. We don't have requirements because we divide the groups, but was to be about 13 years old, but then we
I think but she was saying that this was the first year that we organized the SonicPi workshop, and we're going to continue organizing these workshops every year. And you can also find the details to that in the slides. Ms. Dilara shared the Google Doc link, so you can find the SonicPi slide there and click on the link. And there is also another question. Can you share a project for kindergartens? Yeah, I think Ms. Sedat, you can share one if you have something in mind. A project that we did for the kindergartens.
Yes, if you share us to contact information. maybe later we share all of the information about that.
Yeah, you can send us a mail from the mail that is on the slide, pisarcs@pisarcschool.k12.tr. We're going to be answering those curriculum questions through the mails. Yağmur also sent the answer through the chat. She said, in case I have disconnected, we don't have any requirements to enter. No problem. We're still waiting for the questions. If you have one, don't be shy to send.
And we want to invent another our next coding summit or Pivors or other summit, right? Ece?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just forgetting about that. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna still continue organizing these events, and we have many plans, many events planned. And Yağmur has a link to send to the chat, a Google Forms link. So if you're interested in any of these workshops or any of these events or any of these courses, it doesn't matter. Just fill this Google form, and we're gonna be in contact. All the updates and everything will be sent if you send us your email through the Google Forms. There is another question while Yağmur is sending the link. Okay, so the question is, I am wondering how the students think they will use what they have learned in the future. Oh, so this is a question to us. Yes. So the things that we have learned is really valuable in terms of computer science, also life. Rather than learning how to code, we learned how to communicate, how to teach something to both younger kids and to adults as well. And we also learned how to learn something by ourselves, which is, I think, the most important thing is that. So if we have anything that we want to learn, we just can simply learn ourselves through books, internet, or basically just by experiencing those things. Yeah, so I think that's the most valuable thing that we learned, and we're going to use in the future. Yağmur, if you have any additions to my answer.
I agree with learning to communicate and everything besides coding. And in terms of coding, I want to add that I think what we're doing in Idea Lab is a very essential part of learning because now I realize that a lot of things that we do in real life involves the process of thinking as a code. And in terms of like other subjects in school, for example, math, you can really see the connections between coding and other subjects. And even if there isn't any connections, I think what we do in Idea Lab allows us to create more creative projects in other lessons as well. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Another question. Would schools in the US join one of your events? If so, how? Yeah, definitely they can join many of our events, especially Coding Summit and SonicPi. So we, like I said, we organized the Coding Summit and the SonicPi for international students as well, both for Turkish students and international students. And we are actually communicating with several schools from outside of Turkey, from Greece, United States, United Kingdom, and what was the other one? Oman, I suppose.
Yes. Oman.
Yes. Yeah, and we can. I mean, we have connections with several schools other than that. And if any school or any teacher wants to contact us to organize these events with their students and other students and teachers as well, they can just send us a mail or fill the Google form. And yeah,
in terms of the time difference, we organize our events according to it. So someone attending from the US is still able to join our events in a logical time because we usually organize our international events late at night in Turkey.
I think Ms. Gülçin is on time.
What is it? Excuse me?
Time is yes.
Yağmur, maybe you can also talk about how our collaboration started with ACS, American Community School in Athens.
Yeah, sure. When the collaboration started, I was really young, that I wasn't in the SRCS then, but I know the story. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, they came to our school and they saw this organization and our Idea Lab. And then when they returned back to Greece, they opened a new lab, innovation lab, for themselves. And they've been organizing this workshop with us in Greece as well, in ACS. And every year, not this year, it's going to be virtual. Every year we go to Greece to give these programming workshops to the students in ACS as well. And with the ACS students, the incubator students. Yeah, if you have any additions, please make it, because I'm not really, I can't explain it really detailed.
Yes, actually, one of the conferences when we were presenting with our students, ACS got interested in our Idea Lab, and then they said that we would like to create such an environment, and we would like to come and visit your school. And we said, of course, you are welcome. And actually, they came. The president brought the students, 6 students, and then they spent almost a week with us. Even the students stay with the Turkish families, with our parents and students, which was a great opportunity, get to know each other and then get more familiar with the culture too. And because, as you know, the government sometimes creates some problems, but the people, people make the connection actually. And now we want our students not just to learn the computer science skills, but they let them know each other and then get the culture better. And then when they become a leader, they will have different perspectives actually from each about each culture. And then our they after they left, almost 2 months later, our students with me and with Sedat, we took our students ACS, and then our students stay with the Greek families, and then the students, we stay almost 3 or 4 days. And at that time, our students helped the friends in ACS to help them to set up this environment, and then they did a first coding summit together. And they also, I think they taught from primary school to high school, and that was amazing. That was they told me that it was very challenging, but they learned from this experience a lot. I think it is all about this, when we should create some opportunities for our students to learn, from their experiences. That's what I would like to share. If you are interested in, we will love to help you. I'm sure Ece and Yağmur will be helping you. They will be, eager to do that. And please contact with us, because we like sharing, and then we believe that as we share good things together, the world become better.
Yeah. There's also another question. Are you open to teaching younger students online? And the answer is definitely. We actually organized online Scratch workshop to elementary school kids. Yeah, so where should I start? Because they were so young and so new to the system, in the beginning it was really difficult to manage the class since I was the only instructor. And that was our failing too. We decided on giving the workshops more than one instructor. And so in the beginning, it was really difficult to manage the class since they were all talking at the same time. And they were actually really excited to do the programming from scratch. And so there was no problem about the motivation. But the only thing that was they were too excited. And at the end, after the 4-week process, they completed the workshop with more than 10 applications in total. They also had some homeworks to do, applications to games to do, animations to do, and they completed all of them. And we also created a group from scratch, community group from scratch, where we also share our ideas and our games still today with each other.
Well, I think maybe that's a good place for us to conclude for today. I just want to really thank all of our panelists from Hisar School for sharing the work that they've been doing with us. And again, I think it's particularly noteworthy that this session was led by 2 students. I really want to commend Aja and Yamer for the work that they're doing, and also for how well they handled the difficulties with technology. You did it like pros. I mean, I know many adults that would not have been so composed dealing with the good job with the difficulty. So thank you so much, and also to Sadat and Deguchin for the work that they do. It takes leadership and it takes vision to put students in such prominent roles, not only in presentations, but also in schools and in decision making. And we know that student voice is just such an important part of engaging students in the learning process. And so your leadership in that is really to be commended. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, George. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.